Welcome to the first ever couple interview on Twerk. I have come to an abandoned prison to chat to Andy and Laura about their fantastic, fully sustainable, freshly roasted, ethically sourced and carbon neutral coffee business together. As always, we're going to chat through their career journeys pre-coffee, and then we're going to chat through what sparked the decision for them to set this up together, and then probably most importantly, what it's been like as a couple ever since. Let's go. Hello and welcome to Twerk, a space where you can hear and read about some amazing people, the fantastic jobs they do, and the paths that led them to where they are today. Andy and Laura, hi!
Hi!
Oh my god, I just did like a full children's TV wave there.
How are you
I went, hi! Laura, Andy, hi!
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Right, so, can you tell the brilliant viewer what it is you both do for a living?
Oh, we pretend to be grown-ups.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So we run a coffee roastery, Two Chimps Coffee.
Yeah.
We roast specialty coffee and we post it out nationwide and deliver to businesses as well.
Yeah, nothing to add to that.
Brilliant. Okay, right. Loads to go into there, but before we do, we're going to chat back and we're going to simultaneously talk about little Andy and little Laura. I don't know who wants to go first.
That's a long time ago for me, so I don't know how much I can remember.
What were you like? What were you into?
I was absolutely brilliant. Ask my mum and
his mum and dad.
Yeah, that's a darling little child.
And
nice.
sarcastic from a really young age as well.
Yeah, you're getting it, yeah. So I was born in Oakham Hospital in 1983. And as much as we've kind of moved away, we've always kind of come back to Oakham, haven't we? So yeah, lived here all my life. Parents live here. Your mum lives just around the corner as well.
Yeah.
Went to a local school where our eldest is now at primary school. Just round the corner from where we live. Yeah.
And what about school? What were your favourite subjects then?
I remember trying to sell stuff in primary school.
Did you?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
What, like, rather than just trading? So everyone else
Like
was trading Pokemon
No,
cards?
selling. Yeah, I remember trying to sell stuff and I wasn't allowed. The teacher told me no because I was doing it for profit.
Was it drugs?
Was it stuff
No,
out your
not in
lunch
primary
box?
school, no.
Was it like a banana or
No,
sell you a jammy Dodger for
Pin badges.
Pin badge? Did you?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
That's pretty good though.
Yeah.
That's quite cool.
I remember that towards the end of primary school. Right.
Okay.
Then I went to Uppingham Community College for secondary school, where I was mostly a little darling till the pub was invented, and then kind of went missing for a bit and came back in my early 20s. I think that's fair to say.
But at secondary school, what were your favourite subjects then?
Oh, so I was kind of average at everything. I got 8 B's, an A, and a C.
Yeah.
Um,
That's really good.
Yeah,
That
you
doesn't
look
sound average.
surprised.
That doesn't,
You look
but no, you
surprised.
said I was average.
Yeah, well, that is average because they're all the same. So it's an average of a B.
Well,
So you're like good at lots of things is how you should pitch it really.
Yeah, I average at lots of things. Yeah, to be fair. Yeah, and then where did I go after that? Then I finished there and went to catering college. Didn't get on particularly well.
what made you decide with catering college though?
I think that's what I got the distinction in. So you
Right.
kind of keeping on the food side of things. So went to catering college for a bit. Left, went into the real world of work. Came out of the real world of work again. Went back to college to do photography, and that's obviously where we met you first time. Right?
Yeah.
We were photographers for a long while, and now today here we are.
Okay. Your turn.
Me.
Yeah.
Cool. So I have pretty much lived in Oakham all my life. I wasn't born in Oakham, but I've been here from a very young age. I went to a local primary school and then the Vale of Catmos College.
And what were your favourite subjects then?
I still really like dance and drama.
So quite thesp.
Yes, yeah. I used to really enjoy that, and then I kind of did it too much and then didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
Which was a bit of a shame.
I've heard that.
Yeah. I was rubbish at maths, rubbish at science, English, all the subjects that you're supposed to be really good at and excel at. I was rubbish at all of those.
Yeah.
So my mum, bless her, did me some extra tuition to get me through my
it.
GCSEs so I could get
it.
all my ticks.
But you do have to, like, even today, you have to pass English and maths, don't
Yeah.
you? Which, if you're quite creative and stuff,
It's quite difficult.
yeah.
So that's, I did. I played
were
a lot
you good?
outside. Mostly.
Mostly.
I was mostly very good.
Yeah. You do, I'm just
Why are you
saying
looking
that.
at me like
I'm just saying that because
Bullshit.
you do have quite you look like you would have been a good girl when you were younger.
What do I look like then? Come on.
Anyway. Okay, so where did you two meet then?
We met in the Grain Store Brewery.
Oh, you met in a pub.
We both
We
worked in
both
the pub.
worked at the pub.
Okay.
Yeah. So Andy was the bar manager at the Grain Store Brewery.
Yeah.
I was for a while.
It was my first bar job when I turned 18.
Yeah.
And we knew each other anyway. We were from living in Oakham.
Yeah.
We knew each other to speak to, but it was only when we started working together that we started seeing each other.
Yeah, and you kind of went, oh, I quite like the look of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
less furry then.
You were less furry. Yeah,
So
you
you
still had
think-
your little eyebrow thing in, but
Yeah.
you didn't have the big old bushy beard.
Okay, so met in the grain store.
Yeah.
What were you both doing? What was it, that and something else, or were you both just there working full time, or what was
No, at that time I was just there full time, I think.
Well, you were running it, so you were.
You'd started doing wedding photography by then, hadn't you? When we got together, you'd already done
Yeah,
a couple
possibly.
of weddings.
Yeah.
I was at uni, I was part of De Montfort University, but I went to Melton, so I still lived at home and I
Okay.
commuted to university.
To do.
Dance and drama.
So you were still committed even at that stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing. So the grain store was just a part-time job for
Okay.
evenings, bit of extra money. Whereas you were there full-time and then doing the weddings at the weekend and a bit of DJing.
Seems to ring a bell. Yeah.
Okay, and then at what point did you? So you left uni,
Yes.
and were you like, right, what am I going to do?
I'd pretty much had enough of what I'd been studying. So Andy's starting getting really busy with weddings. So I said that I would give him a hand while I decided what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And he taught me how to use Photoshop and how to edit and how to help with lighting. And then he didn't get rid of me.
Yeah,
you-
still it.
So you two have been together since you were like sort of 18, like
Well,
since
yeah,
young.
I'm obviously the
It's
younger of the two.
17 years, I think.
Yeah, 17 years.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
And you've always worked together.
I've been self-employed
Yeah.
for 20 years now.
Yeah.
So started when I was 21, now 41. So I did a few years prior, and then like you said, the
it's
rest
always
together.
been
Yeah.
together.
Did you always
Yeah.
know that you kind of really wanted to work for yourself though? Because back in the day, it wasn't a thing, was it? It was like you go and get a
No.
job and that kind of thing.
Got a job, had lots of jobs, worked very hard in a lot of jobs, which taught me a lot of things. There are some employers that I'm very thankful for, because if they were nicer to me, I'd probably still be there.
Yeah.
So it's almost quite nice to see things from the other side. But once you've been self-employed, I think you become unemployable
Yeah, I agree.
in the real world, if I'm honest. Like, we are used to doing our own thing when we want to do it, how we want to do it.
Making our own decisions.
Yeah, time off when you want it, etc.
Yeah.
And sometimes it goes the other way, and you have to put in a lot more, and you work a lot more hours and a
Yeah.
lot more funny times and get a lot less holiday. But at least the choice is yours. It's that.
Well, and the output's yours.
Yeah, it's not a control thing. It's not that. It's just nice to be in
It's
charge
nice
of your own.
having that flexibility
Yeah,
and
really.
being able to, like start early, finish early,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So for a decent chunk of time then, you were both full in with the photography.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were.
And I mean, and weddings and that kind of stuff, so obviously, as we know, it's quite stressful.
Yeah.
And that was okay with you both working together?
Yeah, it was cool.
It was,
no problem at
yeah.
all.
Yeah, we
just
got on really well.
every Sunday we had to go for beer. Was the only thing.
So it became
What,
almost
to chill
like
out?
Yeah.
So we'd work really
So-
hard from Tuesday to Sunday, and
And
then
weddings are
come
so
Sunday
intense.
night, we had to go and kind of reset, shall we say, ready for the following week.
How did you know to do that?
it becomes quite obvious.
You say that, but a lot of people don't.
No, yes, we did go out once a week, didn't we?
You just obviously made that time for each other.
We
and
just
for yourselves.
every Sunday
Every Sunday night
we went out.
Yeah.
And then we had the Monday off, and it was just every week it was the same. We'd have a blowout.
Just to kind of
chill on the Monday, and then back to it on the
Tuesday.
On the Tuesday.
Wow. Okay. Right. Well, we've got to talk about this place then. Where did that idea even come from?
So we photographed weddings for a long time. In 2014 or there and thereabouts, we were really busy in the summer, and it got to a Sunday, and we'd added up the amount of hours we'd done over the week. So we'd done like 3 weddings that week and stuff in the week, etc. And it was something like 100 hours each or something like insane over the 7 days. We're just really busy. So we kind of said, it's all right, we're going away in October and we'll come back and it'll quieten off. It'll just become normal. And we went away in October, we came back and it hadn't quietened off. If anything, it got busier because then everyone wanted anything back for Christmas.
Yeah.
So we were just as busy, and on one like Tuesday evening I was at home roasting coffee because we used to roast for the studio, so we were different to the people down the road, and it's just a little talking point really. So I roasted coffee at home. And you were still at the unit till like 10 o'clock, and you came back and we stood in the kitchen and I politely said, fuck this. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, we're just as busy. It's never, and it was great and we were busy, but the problem with weddings, or a problem with weddings, is that if you employed myself and Laura to come and then we sent Joe Bloggs and Suzanne, you'd be like, the hell are these pay? You know, we book you.
It is on you.
So we were very, it was very on us, and we were aware of that, and we were aware of the fact we were going to struggle to scale, etc. And if we were poorly, we had to do it anyway, and blah blah blah. You know. So there were a few things that we were starting to notice after such a long time doing it. The biggest, however, was that we wanted to have kids. And if we carried on photographing weddings at the weekends, yes, we would be fine for a time, but then when they got old enough to go to school Monday to Friday, we would never see them. It's kind of like, what's the point? You know, we're not having kids to not see them. So we decided then we've got to do something else.
So this was basically the end of 2014?
Yeah, 2014. It took us 2 years of learning the coffee while we were still photographing weddings. We decided it was time to do something else.
Can I actually just ask you, though, before you go too far forward? You said you were obviously roasting your own coffee. Mm-hmm. But even that interest, though?
Where did it come from? Yeah,
because don't get me wrong, I've got a coffee grinder. I grind my own coffee at home. I don't roast my own coffee. So where's that even stemmed from?
So probably a fascination to always learn more about everything.
Right. So really like coffee, obviously.
So we started with a like espresso machine at the studio, and we were buying coffee, and then that kind of led to like, we want to know more, like what's the next bit sort of thing. So that's where the roasting at home came from. And to be fair, it's still like that now.
Still want to know more.
Still want to know more. Like I read 40 books a year about different things.
Wow.
I know I don't know like the type, do I?
Fascinating.
You do? You're a bookworm.
Bookworm, yeah, you wouldn't believe it. But I do, I read lots of books about lots of things because I want to learn more about everything, basically. Every day's a school day.
It really is. God, it doesn't matter how old you get, you realise you know nothing.
Yeah, there's always something
almost
to learn.
The more you learn, you realise you don't know anything.
So I think that's probably what it was. We just started going down like a rabbit hole, really. It's like, well, if we're making it, it'd be nice to roast it. And that's kind of where it started from, wasn't it?
Okay, so then at end of 2014, you realised it's not sustainable. How does your brain make the leap from that?
So I think, in all honesty, I think if we hadn't decided to have kids, we could still be photographing weddings now.
Yeah, we would have done, I think.
Yeah, I think we would have done. But yeah, it was those who were like the catalyst for the change, weren't they?
But from that to, how did you get from that to roasting though? Or
yeah,
coffee?
so it's because we've been self-employed for so long. We never know everything. That's not what I'm saying. But we knew enough about running a business, so we knew like. We already had a bookkeeper and we already had a web developer, and there were lots of things that were already ticked off the list that then we had to start the process with them, but we already knew where we were going because we already had these people in place, so we just kind of switched direction. And then the only bit that was missing was the coffee roasting and the learning of what to do, wasn't it really?
Yeah.
That was the biggest bit.
And we did it alongside the wedding, so we had 2 years worth of bookings already in the diary.
I bet you did,
so rather than going out to look for more bookings and doing wedding fairs, and we used that time to then learn about coffee, and we went on training schools and courses and down in London.
Yeah, travelled all over trying to find a roaster.
Travelled all over to meet all these different
different importers and stuff. Yeah,
and just gathered as much information as we could as possible.
Yeah.
Found a unit as well. Moved in there in September
2016. So we've done just over 8 years.
And it didn't look like this when we moved in. It was.
Would there have been a riot here? Did you know that?
yeah. From like, you're talking way back when it was
so
actually still a prison.
So when it was a prison, I think
Yeah.
it was about 2005, they had a riot. And this was then left derelict for a little while. So whereas this wasn't in riot condition, it was in damp,
it was in
closed, not open for 10 years kind of condition. So it was a bit minging, wasn't it?
So you saw it literally in its...
we did it. We did all of the
Yeah, we
work.
did, yeah.
But you were one of the first... Because I remember hearing all the rumblings about this maybe opening up.
Yeah.
But I guess they needed people to...
Yeah.
give it a go, didn't they? And you were one of the first, weren't you?
I think we were probably one of the first in this
In
up
this
here.
one.
There was someone storing some stuff in here for a little while, but never did anything.
Yeah.
And we were we've turned it all around. So quite a task.
Okay, so you spent 2 years figuring out what you needed. Because I was going to say, it's not just a case of, as obviously this video will show, it's not like you just literally just sort of import and package out.
No, it's a bit
You're not
more
like,
to it,
you literally, tell us. Tell us. What is more to it than that?
Well, it starts with importing the coffee. So obviously the coffee comes from all the different countries that grow coffee.
Yeah.
So we have to source something that's firstly specialty. So we only roast specialty coffee, which is a much higher grade of Arabica coffee. So it has to be specialty. It has to have like certain flavours that we're looking for to replace coffees.
Yeah,
would you
certain
say?
natural flavours.
Like natural
so everything
flavours.
you find is a natural flavour. We don't add
Right.
anything. So it's just coffee. Just coffee goes in, coffee comes out. But everything that you find in that kind of chemical makeup of the bean is the natural flavours that it will hold, and then we just try our best to get the best out of them.
The best out of them.
In the roasting
And how
process.
hard was that to even find those kind of people, though? Because there's so much of it, and obviously, like I sort of said in my intro, obviously it's the level that you've gone to make sure that the beans are really legitimately fully organic, and that requires so much effort.
Yeah,
doesn't
so we source nearly everything through some trade houses, and there's only really a handful that we would work with in the UK anyway. So it's quite a short list when you kind of get going. Still finding them is a challenge, but there's only really a handful. And then over the last 8 years, we've just built up relationships
those direct
with them.
relationships.
Yeah, and we can just speak to depending on where it is, to speak to whoever's importing from where, and go direct through them.
Yeah.
And how did it's probably going to sound like an odd question, but how did you figure out who was going to do what? As a couple, do you know what I mean? Like, were you both just doing everything?
No, so to start with, there was only myself and Laura, and we still did everything that goes on now, but now there's 7 of us.
Yeah.
So we kind of see it as like we've broken limbs off and given a limb to someone. So, for instance, when we started, I did the roasting and the driving were like my 2 sort of like in the business kind of things.
Yeah.
And since then, we've got Jordan, who you met briefly, now does the roasting. He started in September last year. So I've kind of like broken that limb off and given that to him. And then the driving, we've got a girl called Eleanor who drives with us now. So I've done the same, kind of chopped my other arm off and given that to her, sort of thing. So then, because they then do those 2 bits, it means I can do more of the other bits. And then the same with Laura, was doing all of the like social media, packing, putting the orders together, etc. And over time, again, we've split that into Charlotte, Phil, and Leanne.
Yeah.
We just
And
keep
I guess
breaking
you
bits
have
off.
an extra people that flex in and flex out potentially.
No, it's just 7 of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the 7.
Just the
We
7.
do it all between us. Yeah.
Okay,
All from up
so
there.
started out wanting just to kind of obviously make and sell coffee, but that isn't just what you do. So I guess how has that journey gone then since 2016? So I'm guessing the product range has grown. We talked about what you do in this room.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, so there's now a few other avenues of what we do. Training is a big one, and sharing our wealth of knowledge with the world. on sort of hands-on training courses that we're doing here or on the barista machines behind me. We do some roasting courses, some roasting demonstrations, espresso machine hire into wholesale.
Yeah.
So they're all quite obviously
Okay.
all similar, but all of these things are kind of linked to.
Yeah.
And over the time, we've just felt the need to offer other avenues.
Well, also, you probably,
suppose.
I guess, if people, because obviously that sounds like it's happened quite organically. So if people, I guess, have just asked you questions, and you've kind of gone, actually, we could probably do something with that. And tell
really,
what
that's
people
kind of
want.
what's happened, isn't it? Everybody's an opportunity, or everyone's given us an opportunity,
Yeah.
rather to help them, and by helping them, kind of helps us, isn't it?
Yeah, I think as well, when we first started, coffee was very pretentious. It still is a little bit pretentious.
Yeah.
And we kind of tried to find every avenue we could to bring people to us who were maybe a bit scared of coffee or not quite sure where to dive
Quite
in
scared
and how
of
to
coffee, now
understand
you said
it.
that.
So
It's like wine, though, isn't it?
yeah,
Where
yeah,
you
it's
kind
a
of
little
like,
bit.
you know, don't get me wrong, there is nothing cooler than someone, well, let's face it, there's nothing cooler than a knowledgeable person, is there? If someone's knowledgeable about something, it's just brilliant. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
Coffee's
so
still
we
kind of
we tried to make it fun. So we have fun, like all of the names are really fun and different, nothing to do with coffee at all.
Yeah.
And like the coffee courses that we hold, they're all very down to earth and very normal, so to speak. We're not talking about like altitude and things that you should be able to taste. We're being more
real.
Keeping
it real, aren't you,
why
Laura?
does that taste different, or why do you like that one over this one, and trying to help in that way, rather than kind of preaching to people.
So who comes on these courses then?
People from all over the place, really.
they?
Mostly,
Yeah.
they're mostly presents for other people.
They're like
people buy experiences for other people. We'll do
Yeah.
25 a year, will we? 25
the
days
courses,
a year, so
yeah.
we'll probably do 50, 55 courses a year.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
And how many people roughly come to a...
It depends on what it is, but the ones we did yesterday, there was 17 on the first and 16 on the second, and that's about the
quite a
biggest of the
lot.
groups we'll do. We won't really do
No.
many more than that. Probably 18 or 20 is the most at the time, isn't it?
Yeah, and when Andy does the baristas, everyone gets a machine like a side
get like
of the
a side
machine each, so it's quite 1-to-1. It's not.
We'll do 7, won't we, on those sorts of courses?
Yeah.
Just
That gets quite techie, doesn't it? So it's quite nice to be a small group.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to come and do one now.
Yeah, come.
I should
and see
come,
us.
shouldn't
They're
I?
good
Why
fun.
haven't I come?
They are good fun. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess it's 2016 then. What was the product range in 2016?
We had 6 coffees, 5 caffeinated and 1 decaf.
Yeah.
And now we are more like 10 in total. Probably 7 caffeinated, 2 decaf, and then usually a limited edition, isn't it? So we're just going into Christmas, obviously.
Yeah.
So Christmas will be the limited edition, then it'll be Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Then there'll be a few others that kind of fit between there and Mother's Day, then Father's Day. Before you know it, come round again. So, yeah.
And is that the magic number, or would you like it to be bigger?
No,
Or?
10's enough. And we without asking, you never know anything, do you? So we're very much in touch with our customers, either on the phone, as obviously we've just seen as I'd stop for the phone, or via asking them questions or email, etc. And in one of our kind of customer questionnaires, I suppose is the simplest way of saying it, we ask them what do they think of our coffee range. Is it too big, too small, and just about right? And the feedback is that it's just about right. So if we don't know the answer to everything. We don't.
It's almost
tend
like too
to.
much choice sometimes.
Yeah,
I get
really,
that.
yeah.
Too much
So
choice freaks me out.
If everyone was saying it's too big, we'd reduce it. If everyone said it wasn't big enough, we'd make it bigger. Do you see what I mean? But as everyone seems to think it's about where it should be, then we'll stay like that. Equally, in 2 years' time, as we continue to ask, if that changes and people want it bigger, smaller and different, then we can act on that. But without the information, we're just like flying blind, aren't we? You know, we're just guessing, really. So if we ask them and we do what they ask us, then we're on to the winner.
Well, they're the ones buying it, aren't
exactly,
they? So
We need to talk work splits then. So, what is the work split? Who does what?
Here,
yeah.
between myself and Laura, as we said, there was the two of us, and then we've since broken bits off. So there's now kind of 7 of us, all with our own kind of role to play, and we're all like cogs in a wheel. So if something doesn't happen, the next cog doesn't turn, and as it kind of goes on. So we are very team-based and very team-led. To come and work here, you don't have to jump through hoops. That's not fair. But we interview in a very different way to meet the actual person rather than what your CV says.
Oh my God, that's brilliant.
So we don't. If you were to apply for a job, we invite you all, regardless of like who you are or how far you've got to travel, etc., etc. We invite you all to a like informal meeting,
Like an open morning.
Yeah, like an open morning, and we'll tell you all about the job, and then we'll set you all a task for those who wish to stay, and then we will see how people kind of react to the task, and we'll think, right, well, you're the best fit for the team then. So that's
So
how we
literally,
kind of
almost
choose
what's on
people.
paper is irrelevant.
That's rubbish,
Yeah.
isn't it?
It's just-
If
yeah.
I'm honest,
Well,
everyone says
trust
the
me,
same
it's one of the
thing.
main values of what I'm trying to do. Yeah, we do. It's, I
everyone
think
says
the
the same
recruitment
thing.
system is just.
Yeah. Everyone says
Perfect.
exactly the same thing. So everybody always works great on their own and in a team. They're always happy to commute. They've always got a clean driving license. Except you know, there's always similarities. Of
Yeah.
course
Yeah.
there is. You know, but whether or not that runs true or would run true with our particular team, because everyone obviously all teams are different. You know, whether or not that runs true with our lot, there's only one way to find out, and that's to meet them as people. And you get. Well, people are people. We need to all we need to all see each other, and you know, people rely on other people, don't they?
We have
without
like like a culture that
Yeah.
you know everybody works in a particular way, and we all work together, and we're honest, and everyone's opinion counts, and we have weekly meetings where everyone can talk about anything that they want to, and that the person that comes into that team has to be able to come in and respect that.
Yeah.
And also fit in and not kind of take over or not feel shy to not say anything. So there's loads of different, you know, irrelevant to the job. We can train them on the job and we can train them on the knowledge. But we can't train someone to fit into
No.
a working atmosphere.
No.
That has to be a natural
Yeah.
quality
Natural
that
fit.
they hold. Yeah.
They've got to,
so,
I guess, believe in something beyond themselves, haven't
Yeah,
they?
but we
Yeah.
can't see that on a CV.
No. Or over the phone or...
No, I mean, there are other kind of side benefits to that. So if we had 100 applicants to a job and we spent 10 minutes reading each CV, it's obviously taken us a lot of time. And what will often happen is you will reply and say along the lines of, I see you're based in Glasgow. Does the commute work for you every day? And they'll reply and say, oh, no, sorry, I didn't realise you were based with... So
Yeah.
you've wasted all that time. And not only have we wasted our time, but we've wasted, more importantly, their time. And that's the only thing you don't have enough of, is it? Like you can make more money tomorrow and you can build another house, you do what you want with, but your time is going to run out. And I ain't wasting it. No one's got enough of it, have they? So I don't like wasting
I feel
other
like
people.
you just need to like run the country, Andy. For
I'm
crying
not so
out
sure,
loud!
mate, to be fair.
No,
I'm not so
that
sure.
can't happen.
You need your own,
not so
like, you at
sure.
least need your own YouTube
Imagine.
channel. I mean, we've got all these like silly people doing motivate. You need to do Andy's
Do you reckon?
message of the
Andy's
day.
motto.
Could you
Yeah, Andy's
Um,
message of the day.
you imagine?
So,
Yeah,
do you think you two knew from a really that you had shared values? Because what's obviously really clear is that you fundamentally, at a couple level, you have fundamentally shared inherent values and beliefs of
yeah, I
the
think
world,
so.
society.
Yeah, underneath it all, somewhere, just ready to come out over time. More of it's come out since we've had kids, so it's fair.
Definitely.
So we're very green. So we are carbon neutral as a business, and we've just won environmental champion and shortlisted for Green Company of the Year. And that really is around the kids, because now when we go eventually, we're leaving the planet in whatever state it is to the next generation.
Yeah.
Before we had a next generation, it didn't bother us as much because we didn't have a next generation. Now we do.
Yeah.
Things have changed, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to your original question though, which I did answer like a politician and skirted around completely,
It's
didn't
brilliant.
I?
What was the original question?
It was
I
about
can't
work
remember.
roles and
about work roles.
between the two
Oh,
of you.
So
Yeah.
we
So you
both
answered
know,
a way better question than I asked,
yeah.
I'm just going to say.
10 points to me. We know whose responsibility what part is, in the same way we know the responsibilities of the rest of the team, sort of thing.
Right.
So we do one-to-one meetings with the team every week, and Laura will sort of speak to some of the team and I'll speak to some of the teams. And Laura
Okay.
knows, they're hers as if it were, but, and then when it comes to the job role, I now spend most of my time on the business rather than in it since Jordan started. And you are a bit more kind of half and half, aren't you?
Yeah, I still do a lot of the customer relations.
Yeah.
Which is really important.
Yeah, massively.
Well, because also you're managing this ongoing tone, though, aren't you? Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? This sort of like
Yeah.
tone of how you.
And keeping it
Yeah.
real and keeping
Yeah.
it back to kind of the roots and stuff. Whereas Andy's kind of there making sure that if this happens,
Yeah.
and this happens, and then that happens, and then it can all run.
Yeah, you see, like I'm
Smoothly.
almost like at the top and the bottom, and I'll explain that in the middle, and then like Laura does a bit in the middle.
Yeah.
So at the bottom, like we wouldn't expect the staff to go and empty the bins. It's not fair. So I'll do it. I was cleaning the roaster because it's a horrible job, but now Jordan's here and he does it, and I think he quite enjoys it, bless him, because it looks sparkly when it's done.
Is he way better at it than you?
Well, we've not had a fire yet, so yeah.
I'm not going to answer that question.
So there's always things, like if the car needs, we'll do the brake pads or whatever, I'll do like some of the mucky jobs, and whereas Laura then does a bit in the middle, and then at the top, I spend a lot of time sorting stuff that goes on
Bills
behind
and
the scenes.
payroll and
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that, and then stuff for the future, like moving us all off a server onto the cloud, etc. I'll do that kind of thing and getting all the computers set up, and
Are you quite techie then? Do you quite like your
I'm
geek?
techie enough to be able to sort most problems, but then equally I know where my limits are and where I need to kind of seek help.
Yeah.
No,
which is good.
Yeah, no one's an
Yeah.
island, as if it were, So,
No.
yeah, I'm also conscious that when we ask for help, if it's then uber expensive, something I could have done myself, that's almost
It's
like
irritating.
a bit of a shame. That's I probably could have done that. So
So you buy a book, learn
buy a
it.
book, yeah, read the book, yeah.
Okay, so where do you think this inherent need to help the planet be
It's just
good,
the right
do
thing
good?
to do, isn't it?
Well, it is the right thing to do, but
We
it
want
really
to
is.
be
It's
the-
not. It's
I
not
wrote
just something you're
down,
doing
I
at
can't
a
remember.
thingy level, is it? It really is every part of how you're
Yeah.
living, how you're raising your kids.
We want to be the what's the word I wrote down the other day? The thing the future needs. What is it like?
I don't know. I
It's
didn't
in my
see.
Asana.
Elon Musk, I don't know what we
I have to find it now because I wrote this down when we were out on Thursday.
When you were out at a beer festival, you wrote
Yeah,
something.
no. Oh, be the inspiration the future needs.
Be the right. There
there
you
we
go.
are.
So,
means you
in
do-
actual fact, I was at a beer festival, and I did think it was a beer festival, but I'd not drank too much by that point. I promise.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
now you're hearing it back. Does it
Yeah,
sound
yeah.
still as powerful?
Oh yeah. So it was fascinating to see. We watched two bands while we were there, and both of them had relatively young performers in, and I got to speak to them afterwards, and they were kind of like fair play to them, like they've got up on the stage in front of all those people, but. Some people wouldn't have bothered. Does that make sense? People
Yeah,
would
yeah.
be scared too because they're too worried about what people think, etc., etc., etc. So I feel that we need to be the inspiration that the future needs to say, like, well, first, if we can do it, anyone can, and at the same time, like, in the nicest way, like, fuck what anyone else thinks. If that's what you want to do, like, get up and do it.
Life's
you
too
know?
short,
Yeah, it
and we
is,
should
yeah.
be happy with everything that we've
Whatever they're
got,
doing.
even if it's small.
Yeah. So it was fascinating to
Lucky
see,
to
to
be
be
here.
fair. Yeah, and so that is good point. I helped some people who broke down the other day because it's the right thing to do. Little old couple sat on the side of the road, bless them.
Bless them.
Um,
Surprised you didn't bundle them in and get them a cup of tea or something.
So it's just the right thing to
Just
do,
doing
isn't
the
it?
right
I'd
thing.
hope that when
Yeah.
we need someone, and in all seriousness, when we do, there is always someone there.
Yeah.
So what you get, you got to give, ain't you? It's not, you're not going to get it again. So it's got to
True.
go round. But yeah,
Yeah.
we all need to be the inspiration the future needs.
Yeah,
Many
well,
little
and
bits.
definitely for children.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
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 Okay, one of the
Try our
questions I
best.
always ask is, what's next? So I guess the next 5 years for you guys, what does that look like? Do you have a 5-year plan?
We do have a 5-year plan.
We do.
Yeah, we do. So the next 5 years here, we want to continue growing at the same rate. We don't want to grow too fast because we'll lose it. it will implode, or there's always the opportunity it will implode. Because then we wouldn't be able to keep an eye on the customer service, and we wouldn't be able to keep an eye on the quality of the product, etc., etc. You know, if we were to double overnight, you know, as nice as it is financially, it would all come back. So same kind of speed. So we've done 8 years now. There's 7 of us. So after the next 5 years, we expect probably another 3 to 5 members of staff. And just as we get busier, we need more people to kind of join that community. Yeah, new premises is probably on the to-do list.
It will be eventually, won't it?
We rent currently, and to own would be better.
Can anyone own in here? Bearing in mind it is a derelict prison.
So on this site, no, this is owned by the local council and it's all rented. So there's no chance of owning. I presume because if they then decided to do something else with the site and you own a part of it, they wouldn't be able to, because, you know, so I presume that's why. So we will look to somewhere to purchase probably in the next 3 to 5 years, but they don't come up very often. So we'll just have to see, really.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But no big product shifts or service shifts?
No, not that we expect, to be fair.
No.
Keep doing what we're doing.
The formula.
Keep doing the good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the formula tweaks, isn't it? You know, we're forever trying to make stuff like better, for want of a better term.
Yeah.
But yes, right direction, hopefully so.
It does sound like you have, but also, this isn't like an overnight thing, is it? I guess you've been doing this for quite a while now.
Yeah,
so you kind of know what... I mean, what are the biggest learnings you've had, though? I mean, you must have had muck-ups in this kind of stuff.
So biggest learning is, so when we started as just the two of us, and now so there's a team of 7. So managing is the wrong word, because we don't manage people. That's not what I mean. But looking after a team is a learning, and a positive learning. It's not that, but at the time we didn't know how to employ people, even things down to like PAYE, paying their tax, national insurance, you know, the behind the scenes, but also like managing their expectations and
creating, like we said, like a culture, creating something that people want to be
also
a part
you want
of
them
and want
to stay,
enjoy.
because you're going to invest all this.
And we want people to enjoy coming to work, because people work so much of their life, and if they don't enjoy it, then firstly they're not going to stay very long, but secondly they're not very happy.
No,
and then
we want people to be happy.
So that's definitely been a learning. Like it's more about the place and the atmosphere
and the vibe and everything
than getting someone that's got all of these qualifications and all this experience. You know, maybe that's not what we need. So I think that's been quite a big learning, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Right. Before I ask you my 3 final questions and then let you get back to your lives, is there anything else, either about what you do, your business, your ethos, that you would want to share?
No, don't think so. The only thing, as we were saying when you popped onto the phone, is just how the kids have kind of grown up with our values already, which is fascinating to see. So
it'll be interesting in how also, as they're getting older, how they interact with other kids with those values, because like we've said, most kids are iPad kids. Yeah. So how are they, are they going to inspire their mates to...
I think they already are doing. So school rang, school rang and said, there's been an incident at school. And you love it when they say that, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't know why they rang me instead of Laura this time, but there's been an incident. So I was like, all right, yeah. What's the incident been? I said, well, he was playing in the playground with his friend, and another kid was chasing his friend, and pulled her hair. So Felix said, you don't do that to my friend, and he bit the other child. I was like, all right, well, where's the incident then? And she says, well, that was it. And I was like, well, fair play to him. I says, not the biting, granted, we need to have a word about the granting, but so I'm sure. So you've rang me to tell me he stuck up for his mate to the class bully. So what's the problem then?
Yeah.
Yes, I know he bit.
It probably is the bite.
And he shouldn't have bit.
Yeah.
And we've since gone through that, so it's fine. But I think he already is doing, like he said, no, that isn't right. I don't care who you are or how big you are. That isn't right. You are not doing that to my friend. And that's what he did. Since then, he's learnt not to bite.
Yeah.
He was only like 4.5 at the time, little dude.
Wasn't he?
So now he knows to express it in different ways. But yeah, we always try and see like the light. you know, there's always positives and everything, and it's got to look for it sometimes. So I think he already is doing, in all seriousness.
He goes his party this year. He gave, rather than giving everyone a party bag, he gave everyone a tomato plant that he'd grown from like a seed with you, hadn't he?
In the greenhouse, yeah,
And he gave them all a party bag in like a little bucket with a piece of cake. And all the kids' mums were sending us pictures of the tomatoes because the kids had said, "Oh, I need to keep this alive." And we got all these pictures of tomatoes and stuff, and that was really cool.
Rather than a house full of plastic,
rather than a bag full of plastic.
Yeah, although you will inevitably
Cars
get
and
that kid
tractors and-
that's there going.
We did have one,
Yeah, we only had
Where's
the one
my
though.
sweet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're raising awesome kids, which
Well,
is
we're
cool.
giving it a go, aren't we?
trying.
In all seriousness,
Mashing it out, yeah.
I'm trying, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. In which case, my 3 final questions are always: is there any life advice that you would both give to your younger selves? Actually, you could give it to yourselves, or if you want to give young Andy, some advice, you can. But I guess stuff you wish you'd known when you were younger.
No.
I don't know if there is.
I wouldn't change anything for the world, to be fair. Like what we've just said, when I was out on Thursday, we went out for something to eat afterwards, and they said, if we gave you $1 million, what would you do with it? And I said, nothing, because I'm fine as I am, thank you. Equally, I think that's how you should be. If you're not fine, you need to get off your backside and do something about it.
So take responsibility.
Yeah, take responsibility, yeah. And if you don't know, there's no point sitting here in 10 years' time saying, oh, what if? So you're going to run out of time. So what if you need to go and do it now, and then you can say, well, that didn't work, but then you go on to the next thing and keep changing stuff. But you've got to start somewhere. People don't want to start, not as a rule, but some people don't want to start, and that's a shame that you're not.
Well, some
they're
people
not seeing
almost
their
just
potential.
don't know how to, do
No,
they?
Yeah, it's quite daunting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes it's quite
Starting.
daunting, and they don't want to. So that's a shame. It'd be nice to see more people kind of chase their dreams as if it were.
Trusting their instinct.
Yeah, rather than
and-
sitting there in 20 years'
Yeah.
time and saying, yeah, what if? I would have told myself not to have done more when I was little. That would be the only thing. So sometimes I was a bit like oh, other people are watching, I won't do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas now I just think like, we just do what we want when we want to do it and how we do it, sort of thing, So I probably would have been, I'd tell my younger self that yeah, actually no one cares, because you think everyone cares, don't you?
Oh my God, I say that to my daughter who's 15 all the time, because obviously that's still really there with that sense of, oh my God, I can't possibly do that. And I always say to her, no one gives it. You think people give a shit what you're doing. People are involved in their own lives.
Yeah, but they're
it's
not
the same
bothered.
with parents. Remember her getting a lead role in the school play or whatever it was. She said, oh, but all the parents, you've got to remember the parents only actually I didn't say give a shit. I might have done actually, but I probably didn't. About their own kids.
Yeah, of course.
I think you've got to be able to get. It's difficult trying to teach kids that to get beyond themselves.
Yeah.
What about you? Anything you'd tell your younger self?
Probably similar. Don't worry what people think about you.
That's really hard for girls as well, isn't it?
Yeah, which is quite difficult because you're always very self-conscious, aren't you?
Yeah.
No, I'd have probably given my mum a bit more appreciation. Now I see what bringing 2 kids up is like. Obviously,
you know what?
I couldn't
That
do
is a
without
tale
Andy, and
as
he couldn't
old
do
as
without
time.
me. So I'd have probably been a bit nicer to my mum, a bit more like, yeah, well done, you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
But apart from that, no, I think everything that happened has made us as we are today, so I wouldn't want to go back.
Brilliant. Question 2 then is always, is there any advice you think your older selves would give you now?
Yeah,
So
put
like
some money in a
70
pension.
Stop paying into a pension.
Start paying into a pension, you freaking idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there would be that.
Yeah, they would be saying that. And
Yeah.
they would probably also be saying, don't worry too much. You need to live now while you can, which we do anyway. But yeah, make the most of it while the kids want to spend time with you, because they won't want to
the
spend
whole
time with you all the time.
The blink and you'll miss it thing is really real.
Yeah.
At 70, they'd have
So-
probably said, did you move into McCarthy Stone 10 years ago and get drunk
I know,
with
that's the
neighbours?
dream.
Yeah.
Move into one of those quite early where you can still hammer the bar
Yeah.
and sit on the
Yeah.
patio.
Sit on the patio overlooking the, herds of wildebeest and all that.
Yeah, just be in Ibiza rather than Stamford.
Fair enough. Then the final question is always, and I feel like you've probably already said loads of this stuff now, or it could be what you said earlier, but it's just a saying or a mantra just to impart on the world. I mean, I feel like you've got your beer
there's
one.
loads of them, isn't there? And the other one that we think about a fair bit is It's not what you make, it's how you make it.
Yeah.
It's not the mistakes you made, it's the way you
Act on them.
afterwards.
Yeah.
It's how you recover from them
Yeah.
defines who you are.
Ways, be nice.
Because
to
I'm guessing
people.
you've
And
made
be
lots
nice
of
to people.
mistakes running
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, of course you do. Make
Loads.
mistakes all the time, but they're never mistakes if you learn from them.
Yeah.
It's just part of getting somewhere.
You don't learn if you don't make mistakes.
No.
We say that to these guys up here all the time. Like, nothing's ever wrong. You've never
No
done
one's ever in
anything
trouble,
wrong. We just have to work it out.
Yeah.
Um,
Just found a problem we'd not thought of yet.
yeah, exactly.
Oh.
We just need to fix it.
Brilliant.
Can't fix problems if you don't know they exist. There's another one, you see.
Wow.
Getting your value for
You don't
money
know
here,
what
isn't
you
it?
don't
Got
know.
verbal diarrhea, haven't you?
I know. Thank you very much, guys.
It's been our pleasure.
Do you mean that?
It did sound quite sarcastic, didn't it? Shall I try again? It's been our pleasure. No, it's been lovely, thank you.
If you would like to hear more about this chat, see some pics and read about how to get started in this industry and/or this role, then please go to our website www.twerk.org. The link is in this podcast page and across our socials. Sincere thanks.